And I love that in Isaiah it says, you shall be established in righteousness, and fear and oppression will be far from you. And I love to see that understanding this righteousness, that legally our debt was paid for. Legally our sin was completely wiped out and nailed to the cross. And legally now it gives us the right to have that relationship with God, to accept his love, but it also gives you that boldness before the enemy and before sickness. Legally, you have that right now to look at sickness and say, hey, cancer, back off. Legally, it gives you that assurance, that boldness to look at that arthritis and say, arthritis, pack up your bag and go. It gives you that legal right to look at the symptoms and say, symptoms, I'm not going to bow my knee, I'm not going to yield to you. And Daniel talked about it the other day. And yes, it is true. Once we understand that symptoms is to sickness what temptation is to sin. When the devil wants to make you sin, he will tempt you. It doesn't mean you have sinned yet. It just means you are being tempted. And it becomes sin when? It becomes sin when you yield to it, when you accept it, when you submit yourself to that temptation. Then it gives birth to sin, and sin gives birth to death. So it is with sickness. When you are being tempted with symptoms, it doesn't mean you are sick. It just means you are being tempted with symptoms. And it means you've got to stand up, use your authority, and say, no, sir, that not today. You're not going to get into this house.